Okay, we're recording?
We are recording.
All right. Many
right.
troubles, and we're finally here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Wing Skull.
And I'm Adrian Tilley.
And this is Marshmallow and Mimosa. So, in this episode, we have a few things that we want to talk about. But first, we want to do our general updates on what we have been reading and watching and just into lately. So, last time I handed the microphone off to Adrian on this, and now she is pushing it back to me. So,
Yep, silently. You didn't realize it, but I'm doing that. Glaring.
So, what I have been doing lately is a continuation of my binge on The Adventure Zone. It is amazing. So good.
Yes.
I have now consumed over a year, close to 2 years, I think, worth of their content. So I'm just blasting through it, and it's taking over my life in a little bit, in a small way, but you know, it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
The thing I'm going to be talking about, I think I finally just got over the obsession binge. Like, there's like a threshold where you're like, I can't stop, and then you get over it. You know?
Right.
And you just have to let it happen.
Yeah, you have to let it play its course.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do otherwise. So yeah, I'm riding this wave, and I am enjoying every moment of it because it's an amazing podcast, and you should all go check it out.
Yes, everyone.
The Adventure Zone. Do it.
The Adventure Zone.
I've also still been working through R.A. Salvatore's the Dark Elf trilogy, and I'm currently reading Exile. It's following Dris Duwarden, who is a drow, and his adventures in this world. It's pretty fantastic. But I also have not been actually reading as much as normal because Book Bath Box is becoming a thing now.
I'm so excited. When is the actual box coming out? Summer box?
The summer box actually will be mailed out on July 15th, so just about a month. But I always close the orders 1 month beforehand. So on June 14th, that's the last day that you could have ordered one. Or that should have been the case, but I actually had to close the orders a day early because I had 250 of them, and I could not actually do more than that. So
yeah, I'm so excited because we have something that we collaborated on in that box, and it's exciting. I've been like sitting there waiting with it, and I can't share it.
It's gonna be
secrets.
Amazing. I'm so excited. It's probably one of my favorite things that's actually going out in the box.
Nice.
Just so you know. So now that the orders for that have closed, I've opened up again, and now you can get the autumn box, but which that one, by the way, the theme for that one is Fantastic Familiars, and I am super stoked about it. So, you know, like the dragon companions, and
there's some cats in there.
Yeah, cats are always, you know, you have to have your kitty companions. Like the demons or however you want to pronounce it in what is that? Oh my gosh. Philip Pullman.
I don't know.
People are screaming at their computers right now.
Is that with names of things?
The Golden Compass and all that.
Oh.
His Dark Materials. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, brain.
I should know that because
well done.
I love those books.
They're so good. Yeah. Sorry, everyone, for the panic I just put in you. I actually know this book series, I swear. So I'm really, really excited for that box, but because I have now closed the orders, I am going to be spending the next few weeks really focusing on assembling these 250 boxes that are going to be mailed out on July 15th. And I am super excited about it. I am totally going to, use my friends to come over and just tempt them in with coffee and like treats and stuff, and then get manual labor from them. So it's going to be good. And yeah, that's basically what I'm doing lately.
Nice.
What are you doing, Adrian?
So the first thing I want to talk about is the short little 20-minute movie I just watched.
Okay.
And I heard it was coming out, and then my husband Cole was like, "Did you watch it?" When I came home, and I was like, "No, oh my god!" And so it's this short by Neil Blomkamp, who did District 9.
Okay, yeah.
Did you like that movie? Did you watch it?
Did not watch it.
Okay, well you should watch it sometime because it's amazing sci-fi, and he's an amazing imagination, and so he did Elysium, which is kind of like and then I haven't seen Chappie, which is another one for him, but
never even heard of that.
That's okay. I'm a huge fan. Chappie has, I don't know, I'm going to go into it. Anyway, you're going to just be like, what? And so he was kind of getting tired of the whole like the whole like Hollywood system, and they're not giving him enough. Like I think Elysium had a lot of problems, like producers coming in and making it very vanilla and stuff, and so it kind of ended up being a little blah. But so he started making these shorts, and I'm just going to show you some pictures from it because you should watch it because it's amazing. It's called Rakka, Rakka, and it's about this kind of this reptilian race that has come down, and they've started taking over.
I'm looking at a picture right now of this reptile.
And they started taking over the Earth and starting putting all these like methane clouds into the air, like to make it their own atmosphere. And they're starting to like, take over all the humans and stuff. And they're just trying to make it their own planet, basically. And they're so cool. The CGI is amazing. The best CGI I feel like I've ever seen. Because I think it's a mix of practical and CGI. There's a lot of like CGI that's kind of out of focus and stuff to make it like look more real. And like this picture is like this, their alien ships are this like liquid technology kind of stuff that automatically, if they need a weapon, it just kind of morphs out and it's onto their arm, and like all their clothes, and it's all this like kind of black liquid, and their ships are all this like black kind of like ever morphing, like, so it's like all these amazing sci-fi concepts, and it has Sigourney Weaver in it.
Always a win.
Yep. It's so good.
That's amazing.
And so he is coming out with, I think, a full movie. I don't think it's related to this. It's just another one of his like ideas. I think he said it's coming out on Steam. I was reading some interviews about this, and he needs, not that we have many listeners right now, but you should go and buy it on Steam because that's how to support him. He's going to put it out for free, but he wants people to like buy it so that he can do more of this stuff, right? So that blew my mind a few days ago. Another thing I want to talk about is this other, like, talking about obsessions with things. I finally just got over the hurdle of this because there were just so many videos, but I was watching this YouTube channel called Good Mythical Morning. Okay. And it's these two, it's kind of like a morning talk show. They have it like Monday through Friday, and it's like 10 or 12 minutes. And they just do ridiculous things. And it's like these two 40-year-old guys, and they're both like dads, but they've been friends since they were 8 years old.
Oh, I totally know what you're talking about.
I'll show you the picture, and I bet you would recognize them. I think because they have like 12 million subscribers or something. But they do. I don't know if you've seen them before.
Yes.
Yeah, they're just like so lovable that they have like 1,200 videos, and I had to watch like season 9, 10, 11. Like I needed to watch all of them, and they're all like 120 videos. And they also have a thing after the show, which is like another like 12 or 15 minutes where they don't edit it, or all it's just them talking. And I was just watched most of those too.
That's amazing. I can't imagine doing a video every day.
No, and they've been, I think, doing it for like 6 or 8 years, and now they have it's like a company. They have like 15 people. Oh. In their employment.
Okay, well, if that was all I had to do, then
right?
that would be great.
Yeah, and they're coming with like a book now, and they're doing like a show for YouTube Red, which is like the paid stuff. Like they have all this stuff going on. But I also wanted to talk about, so one thing that I like about their kind of Good Mythical Morning brand is that they have this, they call their guests, they call their like watchers mythical beasts, which I just love.
That's cute.
And also they have this kind of thing where it's like be your mythical best, and it's just kind of like this attitude of being like child, like in not shutting your sight, like as an adult you can still have this kind of mentality of like exploration and trying things out and being, open-minded about,
I love this.
Yeah.
And I feel like we should have a tag phrase like that.
That's why I brought it up. Because like the idea of like what would the people listening be called, and kind of like what, like whatever, like I'm similar to like cozy or like help, and I was like, we need to think of something.
We do.
Yeah. Or have suggestions or something.
Okay. All right, we need to think about this.
I know, because all the things I thought of were stupid, so I'm not even going to say any of them.
Okay.
But I love that mentality and that part of it, so I was like, probably something in there. But
I'm totally for that.
Yeah, but people should check out a video or two. I don't know, it was one of those things where my husband, there's been a few YouTube channels like this where my husband's watching it, and I'm like, I don't know, like just two bros, like
but once you
chatting.
Get in.
Yeah, and then you realize like,
done deal.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I love their personalities, and like, okay, I get it, But,
yeah, totally.
But they have really good, the series, I would recommend looking up a Will It. That's like this one of them, what they do, where they, like, it's like Will It ice cream, or Will It soup, or Will It, like, and so they do, like, turn food items into, like, ice cream, like, like mustard ice cream, and then they'll go into, like, it gets progressively grosser. They start with, like, good ones, and then they go into, like, what cockroach turn into ice cream and stuff like that, and then they're, like,
That's
you know?
disturbing. You almost lost me. I'm still slightly interested because of this whole mythical thing, but that made me take a step back.
Yeah, damn it.
But yeah, I will definitely still check this out.
Mm-hmm. I just got really hot. I put my hat back on, and now I'm like, whew, I shouldn't have done that. So.
And you have hot tea.
It's all cooled down now. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's good. Okay, so now that we've kind of gone over what we've been doing.
And man, I've been reading The Name of the Wind. I can't stop.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I was like giving myself a break yesterday, and I was like yesterday evening I was reading it, and I was like, it's okay. I can spend a few hours not doing something, because I kind of obsessively work on things all the time. And so I just like took a break to read, and like my husband came in and he was like, wow, chapter 60. I was like, oh yeah. And like 2 or 3 days of just in really like every moment. It's so good.
It's so good. I get
so good.
So pulled into his writing.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where the books are giant, but it's better that way because you have so much more content, and I just don't want it to stop. Mm-hmm. I remember when I got to the end of the second book, and I closed it, and I was laying in bed reading, and I just laid there, like, distraught with the world. I didn't have anything else to read.
Yeah, those are the worst.
Yeah, but just so you know, to prepare yourself for when you get to that point, there are 2 novellas.
Okay.
Yeah.
He only has 2 for the series.
Yes.
Okay.
So one of them is in a collection. I think it's like a rogue anthology, which I got on Kindle specifically just to read this one story. Mm-hmm. And then the other one came out. I actually went to the book signing for it, and it was fantastic. It's The Slow Regard of Silent Things. And he was actually in Portland on the day that the book came out. And so as part of it was this whole epic event, because I've, gone to book signings and stuff, and I'll go and I'll see the author that I like, and you get it signed, and it's great. Mm-hmm. But his was on another level. Like, it was a theater for one. Like, with multiple rows, balcony seats, you're in the orchestra pit. It was like 400 people in this theater. Yeah. He had a band like intro for him.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was this like local nerd band, which I absolutely love. It's called the Double Clicks. Yeah. If you have not heard of them, these like 2 super awesome nerdy ladies.
I'm looking up something else.
Okay, sorry.
I'm not trying to. I was gonna say I want to talk about this other thing afterward, and so. Okay. But you keep on looking. I'm like, no, just don't look at my screen. It's okay. I'm just
also,
distracting you.
Pause moment. I'm out. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry if the sound was a little off there. We have readjusted, and hopefully I didn't just make it worse.
I'm just really loud.
That's possible. Adrian has a louder voice, and I have a very quiet voice. So
I'm gonna laugh. I'm sure it's like skyrocketing over like screaming in people's ears.
I have scooted the microphone so that it is about 25% of the table away from me and 75% away from Adrian.
Yep.
Hopefully this is a good way to even it out. Anyway, yes, Patrick Rothfuss. Yes. He was at there was this amazing opening act, and then he came out and he was like playing with the band on a little kiddie keyboard. And then he read some from the book, and then he had all these questions people had filled out, and he's going through them, but he's just like arbitrarily deciding which ones he wants to answer and which ones he's just going to read and then say he won't answer.
Right. I read the whole question and being like, I'm not going to answer that.
Literally, that's what happened.
Wow.
Yeah, he's like, nah. And yeah, there were people cosplaying. Oh yeah. It was so cool. And there were so many people waiting in line to get things signed by him afterwards. And I mean, like, bless this man. He sat there and signed books for hours. I mean,
did you wait in line?
I did wait in line. And I was waiting in line. The actual show started at like 7, and I don't think I left until around 11.
Wow.
Hours and hours. And there were still people just like lined down. They were going down this big staircase, like lining hallways.
We should talk. I don't think I really want to go to book signings anymore.
Really?
Or I just want to pick up the one that's pre-signed and leave now.
I mean, that's also fair. Mine, I had a book.
I had a bad experience with one author that I really liked.
Oh, no.
And it kind of made, like, soured my mouth a little bit to, like, going and talking to people I even, like, admire, basically.
I mean, it is sad when you find out that the person that you admire is actually, like, a jerk.
Yeah. I mean, I also had good experiences, but that one was just, like, I have nothing to say to them. I think that's part of the problem. Like, other people have a lot more to talk about, and I generally can be kind of awkward when I meet somebody, especially if I'm, like, I think they're amazing.
Right. Oh, no,
so I'm just
going
to put my foot in my mouth about, you know.
See, this is my thinking on it, though. Mm-hmm. I feel that it is my duty as their fan to go up and be super awkward. And it's almost like a sacrifice to my gods that I am just, like, sacrificing my, like, I don't know, I'm just humiliating myself as sacrifice. And I usually go up, and because I enjoy getting tattoos based on books, and I did this to Patrick Rothfuss. I was like, hey, I have this tattoo that's based on your book. See, look, you can see the archives building over here.
Wait, which one is that?
This one on my...
I know I take a picture of it.
See the square right there? That's, archives building. Cool. Yeah. I have a tattoo on my forearm based on this book series. Tattoos. Yeah. They're some of my favorites. Mm-hmm. Anyway,
Did you like them?
I love them.
Did he like them?
Did he like them? He seemed to enjoy them. Mm-hmm. He seemed to enjoy them, but then later I did a YouTube video about it, and he actually retweeted it and said nice things. Oh. And then I had, like, an absurd amount of people who were liking it and following me and watching the video. And
awesome.
It was super exciting. I felt like a 15-minute fame thing in that. Yeah, nice. It was great. So I felt like the first time I showed it to him, he wasn't as into it, but the second time.
Oh, I mean, he'd been talking to people for how long?
He had. I think he was probably half.
And he was doing a book tour, so how many cities had you just been in? You know, like,
actually, this was the first one. We were the first one, but he had actually been sitting there for hours signing things and like socializing.
I think that's another reason I'm just like, I don't know, like, it just feels like I'm bugging them. Like, I don't know. I had a really good experience with David Eagleman. He's a neuroscientist and he writes awesome books. He's most famous for, like, doing one that was on like Radio Lab where people were, like, jumping off this thing onto this trampoline, and in mid jump they were checking this, like, watch to see if time actually, like, they absorbed more when they were in a circumstance it was really, like, when they were, like,
that's bizarre.
Yeah, like, kind of, you know, when you're, like, in a moment that has a high adrenaline and the, like, time kind of slows down for you. Oh. He was actually trying to see if you absorbed more, like, in that moment or something.
Interesting.
So he does, like, neuroscience experiments like that, and he writes books that are kind of about that kind of stuff. So he's really, like,
it's
the
like
cool
the
guy.
Extreme sports of neuroscience.
Yeah, and so he's, like, a really cool guy. And I went to his book signing at Powell's, and it was, like, 50 people. And I was the youngest there by, like, 20 years. Everybody was, like, 45, 50, and they were all, like, NPR, you know, and I was, I was like, really amused. The guy behind me in line, so I brought this one. He has one nonfiction book called Some Tales of the Afterlife, and I think it's, like, 21 stories, and they're little snippets of, like, these kind of fantastical ideas of what the afterlife might look like. One is, like, let's see, we're getting real tangent, but that's okay. It's so good, though. But it's like this, and you're in the afterlife and you're talking to, like, one of the, like, a being basically, and he's kind of asking you what you want your next life to look like. And so the guy chooses, I want to be like a wild horse. I want to be living free. I don't want any worries of being all this human, you know, stress that I had every day. And so as he's, like, moving to this next life as a horse, he realizes in his last ounce of humanity that he'll never, as a horse, he will never have the intellect and the ability to know that he would want to become a human. Like, he would never really, you're sliding down the level of intelligence and human consciousness down to a lower level. And so he, like, then he's a horse. It's so good, though. They're all, like, kind of like that. And I, like, got up to the table and he was like, so what's your story? And I was like, my story? What do you care about what I have to, he was such a cool guy. He had, like, the sunglasses and this, like, shirt and stuff. He was the nicest person ever, and he was, like, totally just wanted to, like, know who was coming to his book signing, and he was really interested. He had enough, like, it was a small enough crowd that didn't feel, like, awkward too, so.
Excellent.
But that was good. But another one, I don't want to say her name, but I really loved her braiding, and it was super awkward. I was in a really shitty time in my life too, and I didn't really have a lot of friends, or, like, it was just, like, a miserable time. So I went to this kind of, like, excited. I'm just like, but then I was in line and they had the thing where you're supposed to write your name in the front in the sticky note so she doesn't have to like get you to spell out your name. And I was just like feeling like so awkward in that moment. I didn't have a pen or anything. And so I was like, it's not that big of a deal if I just say it and say, sorry, I didn't have a pen. And I didn't it felt like too awkward to ask people around me and stuff. And I like went up there and she was like already talking to somebody behind me in line. And like chatting with them. And I was like, sorry, I didn't have a pen. And she gave me this look. I had to like say my name awkwardly and the person behind me just dead silence. It was so terrible. And I was just
awful.
I like never want to read one of her books again, even think about it. It was just like it was like magnified at like everything crappy in my life at that point too. So it was just like perfect. Yeah. So I'm kind of like just gonna go ahead and get the signed ones they have up at the front. Not do that again.
Afterwards you'll have to tell me who it was.
Yeah.
So I can avoid.
I don't want anybody to feel, because I'm sure she was having a fine time with everybody else in line but me. So
I mean, but that's still not cool.
Yeah.
I will say, so this weekend I'm actually going to go see Laura King. Mm-hmm. She has a book signing at Powell's.
Nice.
I'm very excited about it. I have actually going to see her at this, I think will be my third or fourth book signing of hers that I've gone to, because I'm like a Laura King super fan. She writes the Sherlock Holmes and Mary Russell series that I love. She's a mystery author, and I don't read a lot of mystery, but I always read her books. And I have tattoos based on some of her characters. Well, really one character. The other one is Sherlock Holmes, which isn't necessarily her character. But, yeah, so I had tweeted at her about this. And so now then of course I had this really awkward, interaction. It's really awkward to tell someone that you have immortalized their character as a cat. Yeah. And gotten it like permanently inked onto your body. Like that's a hard thing for anyone to fully grok, I think. So, but we've met a few times now, and the last time I was at one of her book signings, I happened to be one of the first. Like just the way that they decided to have people walk up, I was one of the first people to walk up there, and I felt so cool because I walk up and she remembered me.
Oh man.
And she was just like, "Oh, Winx, how are you?"
I remember your name.
Yeah. And she was just like, "Have you gotten any new tattoos lately? Can you send me a picture of the finished one? I don't know if I have it all finished." You
should, like, ask her to go coffee with you or something.
No, I know. And as she's saying this, she's like, just send me a picture of the finished one. You have my email. I was just like, I do. And everyone behind me, because I'm one of the first people, so like there's a whole room behind me. They're just looking at me. I've never felt cooler in my life.
Nice. Yeah. I would say I do talk to comic book people though, because there's a big comic book community in Portland, and I go to my husband does tables at Comic-Con every year, and so I end up just wandering around by myself as he's like tabling, and so I end up like there's like this one couple that I really love, Matt Fraction and Kelly Sue DeConnick, and they are amazing. And I go to like all their talks, and they're like now at the point where Kelly will be like, "You look familiar," and I'm like, "No, just sign my book. I don't need to." Just like,
don't worry about it, Kelly.
You're just amazing, but we don't need to. I did geek out on one of my. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna forget his name now though. He's like my favorite too. Oh well, Scott something or other. He does. He's doing Rocket Raccoon right now, but he was like at the last Comic-Con, and I went up and I was like, "I loved your illustration and that Neil Gaiman kids book that you did." And he was like, "What?" He was really surprised because he was doing like he's only been doing like Rocket Raccoon lately, and that's been like, or he was when the first. What came out? Star-Lord and what's the new ones just came out?
Yeah.
I'm going to forget the name. Everybody knows what we're talking about, though.
I'm sure. Also, it's a little bit distracting because Mimosa just came up on the desk again.
Yeah, and she's laying on top of my notebook.
You didn't need it.
No, I did not. Anyway, we should talk about what we were going to talk about.
Right, yeah.
I bet I cut you off and took you somewhere and you were going to like make
I think we were doing pretty good. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about is sort of in a entrepreneurial vein, because that is part of why Mimosa is being just unbearably cute. It's really unfortunate that this is an audio medium that we're doing right now, because
I get her to meow.
She is just rolling around.
Not that she really meows, but makes a weird little...
Yeah, she makes like weird chirpy meows.
Yeah.
But yeah, she has just no shame in her game, and she is rolling around on this desk right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. Anyway, so we've mentioned before that Adrian and I are both entrepreneurial types. We do our projects and have had some amount of successes with them, but we've also had some amount of failures. And I think a lot of people see the successful projects and then just think that, oh, well, you're just really lucky and you just happen to do these things that worked out really great. So I think it's fun and also good lessons to highlight the times that we have failed in amusing and or embarrassing ways.
Yeah, I've been talking a lot about this with people because there's so many people that just cut themselves off from, and we probably talked about this a little last time, but they just it kind of goes into people just kind of shutting themselves down before they even start something. And they don't realize that every successful person has had so many failures. It's just part of failure means that you're learning.
Exactly.
That's it. That's like period. Like you've learned something from literally everything you've done that you failed.
Exactly. So one of my stories that I wanted to share actually happened recently. I as I mentioned, I have my YouTube channel, Winks and Ink, and I recently got an email from a publishing company that was telling me, they were telling me about this book, and they were actually seeing if I wanted to put it in my subscription box. But in general, they also wanted to see if I would like to review it for my channel and if I would like to actually talk to the editors. And I actually had to clarify because I'd never had someone ask me that before. I mean, I've done reviews, but never, oh, would you like to talk to the person who created this? So that was really exciting. And once I clarified, I found out that indeed they did think that maybe we could do like a Skype interview. And I'd never done anything like that before, but it sounded super exciting. And I figured that I would also, as we were just talking about with meeting authors, I assumed that I would be all nervous and starstruck, and I was a little bit. But we ended up having a really good conversation, and I recorded the whole thing. And then I realized afterwards that it had no sound. I managed to record this like hour of conversation just with video. And I have these two amazing people that I just talked to. Alex Pierce and Mimi Mondel, and the book that they had put together is called Luminescent Threads, Connections to Octavia Butler, and it was just this collection of essays and letters written to Octavia Butler by people who have had some variety of emotional or like personal connection to her. And we had this, like I said, it was just so great, and these people just seem so cool, and they're so accomplished and all these things. And then I had to send them this email. They're emailing me like, oh, thanks, it was really great. Can't wait to see it. I'm just like, so that was a really good practice run. I'm so sorry, but can we do it again? And luckily they were really understanding because they're really awesome. Yeah. But the moment that I realized, because immediately I went to play it and, save it and make sure it was all good, my stomach just dropped it like into my toes. I felt the blood drain from my face. I was so embarrassed. I just hate it because it also, one of them was in Australia, one of them was in New York, I'm in Portland, so we were about as spread out around the globe as is physically possible to do, and getting a time that works for everybody, like at reasonable times of day in those time zones when everyone has other things that's happening, that's really difficult. And so luckily they were really nice about it. And actually, Alex, she is one of the co-hosts on Galactic Suburbia, which is a Hugo Award-winning podcast. Wow. I know. We can only aspire to be. But the
laugh was too much for Mimosa.
Oh, yeah, Mosa's disturbed by laughter. She only
she makes them like evil.
She's kind of an evil queen, I think.
You know, if I move you over here.
Oh, she's not gonna like that. She does not like to be picked up.
I know. I was like, maybe if I like kind of not like pick her up, but like move her a little bit bodily, she'd make an angry noise, which people probably wouldn't appreciate.
She would, but like you might also lose an arm.
And an audience member for abusing animals.
Yeah. No, she would not be pleased. So luckily, because Alex is also a podcast co-host, she shared some times where she has actually also lost like a full episode, and these similar things have happened, which I really appreciated because I felt awful. But it was a major slip up on my part, but we managed to redo it, and I think it actually turned out better the second time anyway. Yeah. The other story I was going to bring up of my personal failures is for Book Bath Box. So the winter box I was really excited about because I happen to be a huge fan of Marie Brennan, and she has written the Memoirs of Lady Trent series, which begins with A Natural History of Dragons.
Yeah, those are so amazing.
Good. It's this like badass lady scientist in this Victorian world that has a, you know, like straight up Victorian style patriarchy, and they say that she can't do these things. Mimosa really wants to yerba mate, and
she just smushed her nose up against the rim.
This is just not good for you, Kitty. Like,
there's nothing left in there.
She's just, yeah.
It's a spot for you now, though. You should lay down.
Yeah, she has a good spot. Okay, so these books...
Yeah, we were talking about the premise of those books.
Right, so she's in this patriarchy, and they say that she can't be a scientist because she's a lady, and she needs to wear dresses, and she can't wear pants, and all these things, and she's like, screw you, I'm going to just find my way onto this expedition, and oh, by the way, I have just sewn all of my skirts into pants. Deal with it.
It's probably like the equivalent to like 1880s England with like the white hunters going out to the safari and all that kind of stuff. Like
right, and the dragons are they're not like intelligent; they're bestial dragons. They don't talk or anything.
Yeah, it's exactly the same world as like 1880s England, except all the names of the countries are different.
Exactly,
and there's dragons.
Yeah,
that's it. There's only like difference.
Everything else is very spot on.
And so she's a animal. She's just dragon studies basically.
Yeah,
yeah.
She's like drawing illustrations, like scientific illustrations of their
mating habits, eating habits.
Yes, exactly. It's very good. Anyway, that's total tangent, as we do. So Marie Brennan also has a series that she's written that is a historical fantasy involving fairies, and this one takes.
I didn't know that.
Write it down. You have the book.
Do I?
Yeah.
What is that? Oh, yeah, in the box.
Yeah. You get the boxes.
Love it.
So
I haven't got around to reading the physical copies.
Yeah, well, you're in for a treat then, because apparently you're interested in this topic.
Apparently I didn't even look at it.
No.
I'm just a great customer.
Hey, you get the box. You get the box, so that's fine.
I probably got a little red. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So the first book in this series is called Midnight Never Come, and I just saw it when I was browsing books, and I realized that it did not have very many ratings on Goodreads, so I decided to pick it up and see if it would be a good one for the box. I thought that it really was, and so I decided to put it in, because I personally really like to read historical fantasy during wintry months. I just find that to be very fitting. I don't know what it is about it, but it's good. So I planned this all out. Everything's great. I find a bulk bookstore online, and I see that it has the book listed. It's in stock. I can get it. When the time comes, I go and I put in my amount. I order. It goes through. It's great. The next day, I get an email telling me that the book is out of print. Sorry. Here's another book that's kind of similar if you want that.
Yeah.
I planned everything in this box around that book. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I close orders a month before I send the boxes out. So I had a very small amount of time to order things, get them delivered, and somehow put it together. I freaked out. It was so just embarrassing, for one. I'm just sitting there convinced that I destroyed my company single-handedly in this move. Because what am I going to send people? I don't have the book.
Yep.
Luckily, we live in the age of the internet, so I was able to actually acquire enough copies of this book, which, by the way, was about 100 copies, through various Amazon sellers, eBay, just all kinds of random bookstores online that I never knew existed, but they do, and I'm so glad they do. I even got some from like the UK Amazon and Canada Amazon. Things came from Australia. They just everywhere. I searched and scoured the globe to find these books, and I think I lost about 2 years of my life from the panic. Mosa has returned to the desk in case anyone just heard noises, but I lost possibly a couple years, but it was a really big lesson, and it managed to work out. But that is a great example of how failures can happen. And I was
gonna say I failed hardcore about, like, I was like, 2 years of your life gone trying to get these books, and I'm like, oh, I want to get that book. You're like, you have it. Like,
Yeah.
That's a good
luck
failure.
trying to find
right
it.
Here. Scooter again with my laughing. Sorry, Mimosa.
It's just like exploded.
Oh, no. I'm so loud.
It's all good. You know, when you read it, you're going to enjoy it, and now you will appreciate it even more.
Oh, yeah. I remember you talking about this. I don't think you were telling me what book it was or something. You try to keep it,
I do try to keep the book secret until people actually get the boxes.
Yeah.
Although I do have a spoiler page, so if you want to know what it is before you order, you can go to bookbathbox.com/spoilers.
I didn't know that.
You can, yeah. There's a button that makes sure you really want to know, and then if you click
that's awesome.
it'll tell you. I'm just afraid someone's going to accidentally get spoiled.
Yeah.
But some people want to be spoiled before they order.
Yeah, I told you. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about spoilers. So
yeah, I know. Just, to each their own.
Yeah.
So what are some of your failures in life?
So I'm really bad at thinking up stories that happen in my life. Yeah. But I think it's just like a general philosophy I have in life. Because there's like failures every day, or like, it's like, or there's people that kind of view things as failures. It's kind of how you approach life in some ways. And so you can either like kind of get beaten down by things not going the way you wanted them to, or all this, or you can go like, I'll get disheartened sometimes, but I usually bounce back very quickly, and I'm kind of an optimistic person. And so I just kind of look back on that stuff as like whatever, and just move on from that. I guess a failure is I tried to do a little Kickstarter at the beginning of this year. And it was doing like $10 for a little hand-drawn illustration. And I got it like, I was asking, so it was part of this like Kickstarter, I was doing like this 100 series. It was just like anything related to like making 100 things.
Yeah, I saw a few of those going around.
Yeah, and I was like, sure, why not? I was like, I like to add things to my plate. Ended up being too much, but, and I think that's kind of why it failed. But it was, it went fine, and a lot of people were really like enthusiastic about it. But
I was very excited about it.
Yeah, so I got like 63 of the 100 people that would have needed to do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that was closer than I thought.
Yeah. And I think if I had updated like Instagram like twice a day the whole time, it would have worked. And so it kind of like is like, and I wasn't. It ended up being like, so at that exact time I ended up starting to do some contract work for the place I work now. And so it was really stressful because I wanted to do a good job to actually get this job. And so that, and then I was also doing some volunteer work and all of this stuff, and that ended up being like one too many things. So I ended up kind of like, it ended up being a failure mainly because I didn't have enough time to really give it attention. And I might not have made it either, even if I had. But it doesn't really matter that much to me, I think. But I could see people, I don't know. You're like putting yourself out there, and then it doesn't make it,
Yeah, totally.
But
sorry, Mimosa just distracted me like severely by walking through
that episode.
Yeah, she's not speaking yet, but she's getting more involved with the podcast
by distracting us.
Exactly. Well, and I feel that this is a good time actually to segue into our other segment, which was about social media.
Okay, yeah.
Because you were talking about posting on Instagram.
That's true.
Yes.
I am not a good social media person, but you are.
I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing in life. I love it. It's just, well, okay. For one, ultimate source of cuteness.
True.
If you follow cat accounts.
Oh, I do.
There's so many of them. Oh, that's.
I think Hosako is my favorite.
That's a tough question.
Do you follow him?
I don't know if I do.
He's like this Russian cat or somewhere in Eastern Europe.
Maybe.
He's like the fluffiest guy. He's so cute.
There's some pretty good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Man, there's... Oh, I can't think of his name now. There's one that is... this. You know what? I'm going to stop the story because I'm not going to remember enough to actually accurately describe it.
We're talking about why you like social media in general.
Yes, exactly. So I should just get back on track. So
people are like, damn it.
Actually, no. You know what? You know what my favorite cat on the internet is? My cat. Deal with it. Mosa and YT. Follow them everywhere. I actually should at some point make them their own accounts, but I feel I already manage 3 social media accounts. my personal one, my book box one, and then one for my day job.
And you've already started kind of taking over
I told Adrian.
Mimosa one.
I told Adrian very much that I did not think that I was capable of handling another one. She should for sure do the Instagram account for this podcast, and I have already been just on there constantly. I've already posted 2 things. Yeah. It's a thing. I just can't.
Well, it's funny because I even just shared this, and I'm like, I think I'm still working on this, and you're like, and then I was done. I decided I was done with it, but it was just funny because I was like, you're like, I'm gonna come home and post that. I was like, all right.
It was in the Google Drive folder.
That means it's done and ready to go up.
Yeah, it was under Instagram post. It's there. Should do a in progress folder if you want it to be in progress.
That's true. Just not share it with you.
Don't tell me these things. I can't be trusted. So yeah, I don't know. I really like the community aspect of social media, and I think especially I feel that I possibly have a different experience with social media than some people just because of the online bookish community, because we are spread far and wide on the internet, and so I really like getting involved with them, and I feel like I've gone on sort of different journeys with different social media platforms. Obviously I feel some people count YouTube. I don't know if would you count YouTube as social media? Sort of? Yeah.
Unless you're like disabling comments, I think. Maybe.
That's true, yeah, because when you have the comments going, that's really when it's, So I have that going, and obviously there's a huge amount of people on BookTube, and that's where a lot of my online friends have come from. Twitter, I was back and forth on, but now that I've become more solidly engrossed in this community, I am on there a lot more.
Yeah, I think you need like a community or something on.
Exactly.
Because I have a Twitter account, but I haven't tweeted anything on it. And I was like following. I was kind of being a lurker for a while, but I just don't know. I'm like, nobody cares.
I care
what I'm doing.
I care, Adrian.
Thanks. And then it's words are just stressful for me. Like Instagram isn't that stressful. Images are okay, but like something about words always just like kind of makes me like stop, and then I overthink it. And so like one tweet is just going to take me too long to put together, and then I'm going to be stressed out about it, and I'm going to be like, I don't know, maybe I'm like put the wrong some grammar in, and I just like immediately start,
I do. I mean, kind of going back to failure, I do mess up my tweets a lot, and Twitter doesn't let you edit tweets. Whereas you can edit things on Facebook or Instagram captions, but Twitter, once it's out there, you either have to delete it and redo it or just let it be. A lot of times I actually just let it be, even though I am like by trade a writer.
Failures.
I'm embracing my imperfections and my vulnerability, and I'm just letting, you know what? I meant it's as in it is, but I didn't put an apostrophe, and I'm just going to let it sit there.
Yeah. I think I just have like a weird relationship with the internet. I don't really engage with it. And I don't really understand how to surf the internet, I think. Like, I have places I go, but I don't really understand what people are doing when they're surfing the internet. I don't know.
I think I do surf the internet quite a bit, but I don't even know that I know what I'm doing when I'm surfing it.
I probably am then.
Yeah.
But I just don't really understand.
I mean, I think we were surfing the internet earlier when we were trying to figure out how to make microphones work.
That feels like a task to me.
But I mean,
so maybe I just don't.
You're riding the waves. You're going from, post to post. This article is linked within this one. You're falling down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's true.
But you're also surfing.
Yeah, I guess I did that most of the morning trying to figure out podcast stuff.
Yeah, I think when it's less enjoyable or more like of a chore, then I think it's probably more of a rabbit hole. But when it's fun stuff that you're researching, then you're kind of riding a wave. So you're surfing.
Okay.
I'm making this up as I talk, but it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I get it.
So leave a comment if you feel differently.
Yeah, I think the only time I really engaged with other people on the internet was when I was doing like analog photography a lot. I did I was doing a bunch of dark room stuff and doing a bunch of like color photography by like shooting in color slides, and then you can cross-process it over to negatives and then get those printed. And it's very like, and I was using like toy cameras, so like $20 cameras, and they have all these like light leaks coming in, so it's very like artsy stuff. It's really cool. It's really pretty.
Sounds very cool.
But like cross-processing like pumps up the colors a lot and all this stuff. And you can find like expired film. It was like a whole thing. And I was back in like, it must have been like 2008. Yeah, 2008 or 9. I was like on the Flickr forums like crazy. I was on there a lot, and I had like a full like my Flickr profile is still up from forever ago. But and I just don't want to take it down. I'm just like, I don't know, still like, whatever. Those photos only exist on there, and I'm too lazy to like get them off because I like lost my hard drive a few times at this point, and so like old photos and stuff.
Yeah, it's not hurting anything.
But that was really technical. It was like discussing how the and so I don't really usually like. I made like one friend off the internet. I feel like an old fogey or something.
You might have a little touch of fogey.
Yeah, which is weird because I started using the internet, like, we had computers when I was, like, 4 or 5, like 1992 or 3.
Yeah.
I've had computers my whole life, basically, but I don't know.
But I feel like you use technology in a more practical way, where you create things and you get very pulled into that sort of project.
Yeah.
Whereas I am not on here doing different, like, Photoshop filters with an ice effect to make it look like space in the background of this awesome picture that you can see if you go to our Twitter page and look at the cover photo, because oh my god, what did Adrian do? It looks awesome.
Ice effect.
Seriously, I died a little bit inside when I saw it, but just out of pure glee. It was great.
It's literally every piece of artwork I've ever made for you.
Yeah.
I'm taking years off your life, just enjoy.
Just slowly whittling away my existence. I think every time you send me a new picture, I react with the @ _ face.
Yes, you do.
Because that is the actual face that I have on my face when I see them. It's very accurate. I feel that I've actually made a lot of friends through social media, and it's really amusing to see what my priorities are when it comes to friends. I have some very specific memories when I was going through, I don't know, I would post something and somebody might have commented on it, or, they followed me because they saw me on YouTube, and so I'm looking at their pictures or whatever. So, like, there's one, Ann Kaczarski, she commented, I think, on one of my pictures, and then I went and looked at hers, and she had the same breed of cat as I used to have, and her cats are named after Star Wars things / characters. She has one named Leia and one named Tauntaun. Amazing. And she was posting about Star Wars tattoos and books, and so I commented, I'm just like, we need to be friends, so nice. Hi.
Yeah.
And I've had the same thing happen with other people where I just realized, like, oh, hey, we're both posting pictures of books, cats, and tattoos, and various coffee drinks.
So how do you engage with that relationship as a relationship?
I mean, I go and post and then like their things, and then they like my things, and then I leave comments, and then we follow each other on Twitter, and it just grows from there.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been pretty great.
Yeah, I was debating, so I like communicating one-on-one with people in person a lot. And even whenever my husband has, like, sunglasses on, I'm instantly like, why are you mad at me? Like, I start having these, like, irrational feelings because I can't see somebody's eyes. And I was wondering if it's, like, I have such a strong...
I could see that.
Need in-person communication that the internet, like... the filter of the internet immediately makes me just kind of not...
Well, text is hard, too, because you can inject your own tone.
Yes.
And something that's really friendly can come across suddenly as being really not friendly.
And I talk to a lot of people over, like, Slack and stuff. Like, our friend Avi, I talk to her, like, every day in Slack. But I already know her really well.
Right.
In person.
Right.
So I know all of her tones and all this stuff. And so when I'm... And, like, and my other friend, like, Ben, like, we were, like, messaged a lot about, like, projects and stuff. It's so I don't know, like, those are fine, but I have, like, a really strong established relationship in person. So
you know what helps this? Emojis.
Sure.
Yeah.
You do use a lot of emojis.
I emoji everything.
Yeah, I use emojis, but I don't have, like, I just need to, maybe this is the turning point,
right,
to start interacting with our theoretical fans.
I mean, they're out there.
But, like, everybody only likes winks. I'm just like, which I wouldn't be surprised.
Hi.
But I don't really care. I think I got to a point in my life where I was just kind of, like, got over caring if people like me or not, because I just, like, walk to the next person and I'm like, oh, well, you like me, so let's just talk,
I mean, I like you, Adrian.
Thank you.
That's why we're doing this. Also, Mimosa likes you. She's sleeping behind me right now, but she spent most of this episode like just hanging out with you over there.
When a cat likes you, it's a special thing.
It's very special. She has very good like perception of character.
Oh.
It's true. Like, she will go and hide and not come out of the closet if she does not think that you are a legit person.
Nice. Well,
yeah. So there you go.
I'm looking forward to our first fans. I know Jess already likes us, but
that's true. My girlfriend listened to our first podcast and said that she loved it, but I feel like she would say that because
my husband's waiting patiently
awesome.
for it to be out on like iTunes, which it should be now, I think.
Yes, so. We did get. By the time you're listening to this, it's probably for sure up there.
Yeah.
Because it just got, as of filming this, it just got approved a couple hours ago. Which is exciting because apparently it can sometimes take up to 10 days. But they apparently don't find us to be threatening. Yay. So we're down to the last 10 minutes, and we had one thing that we wanted to do. So one thing that we are also talking about with social media, even though we both have very different opinions on most of it, we do agree on the fact that Snapchat is confusing as hell.
And every single person I've heard talk about it, I don't talk to like 17-year-olds or anything, which use it a lot, but or whatever they're on now, but that made me sound really old. But everybody I know that is more around my age that uses it has had to have somebody introduce them to it. And I think partially we were talking about the UI. And, like, my brother had to show me how you actually use Snapchat filters. Because you have to,
you have to press
tap your face. And I'm like, how would I ever know that?
No, you wouldn't.
It didn't even give me a tutorial.
I've made a Snapchat account for myself.
Yeah.
And I was on it trying to figure it out for a minute. And then I, like, got off and didn't log on for months. And then I got back on. Every single time I do this, every time I go through this cycle, I have to go and Google it again.
Yeah. I don't know if, like, the UX for that is user experience. People don't know. I'm a UX designer.
Or maybe...
it's just, like, it's part of its charm. Because I could see that. Sometimes I play, like, video games. Like Stardew Valley. I obsessively played that game, and it's like a farming simulator. Yeah. But it doesn't explain a lot of stuff that goes on. I used the wiki a lot when I was playing that game.
That's true.
And so part of the charm was the difficulty of figuring out what the fuck was going on and what do I do in that game. And I just swore, so sorry. I
mean, it's been happening. It's fine.
I asked you. There it is again. And so, so it makes me wonder if that's part of its charm or not.
That's true. Well, and I feel like possibly this upcoming generation will handle UX in different ways. So, for example, one of my friends has a niece, and I think she's 4 now or something, but when she was 2, she went up to the TV and she wanted to change the channel, and she tried to swipe it like an iPad.
Yeah, my niece and nephew both have their own. Well, my niece has her own old, like, I think she has like an iPhone. She has a more advanced iPhone than my husband does, and it's just like not hooked up. It's like one of my sister's old ones, and she just gave it to her, and so she just has that around all the time. And she's like, I was looking through her videos last time, and they were adorable. Like her like filming her dolls and like talking and stuff. So I do think that is true, and I'm like, I'm already behind the times. I already don't know how to design stuff for the new age.
I think you're gonna be okay. I think you're gonna be able to pull through.
Yeah.
So while we're talking here, I have...
Yeah, you got to show me what you're doing.
Yeah, so I have Snapchat pulled up, and we are going to make ourselves a Snapchat account.
For Marshmallow
Mimosa. And I think our name might actually be too long.
What's it for Twitter?
For Twitter, it's Marshmallow Mosa.
Let's try that.
So I'm gonna go for that. Okay, that one is available. Shocking. Secret password.
That you're gonna start saying out loud.
Yeah.
Password 1 2 3 4.
Right. Okay. Secret password is entered. This is very thrilling. Okay. It's loading.
It is thrilling.
It's very thrilling. How's it going over there?
What, on my side of the table?
Yeah.
Good. My toenail's broken.
That's sad.
I have to cut it. This is great. Everybody's I
have trimmers if you need.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
And YT is up in the closet in the very corner sleeping. Pretty cute.
Yeah, she is. Okay, apparently it's sending me
on your phone.
Oh, okay.
You got through.
We got through.
So we're gonna try to post are they stories?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna try to post a story here. Actually, I need to wipe my thing. My front-facing camera on my phone gets so smudgy.
Ew.
I know, it's really
What's wrong with
disgusting.
you?
I don't know. I've got some problems.
Okay.
So let's see. Okay, well, I'm gonna press my face. This
Put something. Yeah. Put
it's like old people react to.
Yes, it is.
What is this? Ooh. There's sound. What is happening?
Have you played with these? That one's great.
That's pretty solid, actually. Ooh. Okay.
You're gonna get distracted by these.
No, these. I'm just
Maybe
trying
the dog
to find.
one?
No, I don't want a dog one.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe
We don't want to promote dogs
those
ever.
cats.
Those are foxes, I think.
Yeah. Ooh, this is good. It's my same glasses.
It'll just show sunglasses on top of her glasses.
Yeah. No, wait. Oh, wait. What's happening?
Are you freaked?
Oh, no. I. Okay, so apparently we are failing already.
I knew we would. So.
Okay, no, wait. I got this.
I like the heavy makeup one.
I like that one, but they had one that was my exact, like, actual glasses. But, like...
You can imagine how...
Look at that. Look how perfect that is.
Wow.
It's my actual glasses.
Yep, do it.
Okay, oops. Glasses. Holding. Hey, it's Wings from Marshmallow and Mimosa.
No. Oh, wait. That was awkward.
All right. We have Snapchatted.
Is it actually posted? I think
wow.
you need to do send to.
It's,
So you press the blue button.
I'm going to create a story. Add to my story. Send. And I think it's added.
All right. We maybe have done it.
I think we maybe have done it.
And then who knows what all these menus are, and they come out from everywhere, and it's confusing.
Right. If you're on Snapchat, feel free to add us.
And
Marshmallow Mosa.
Yeah, and we'll see if we are capable of responding.
Yeah, this might have been a one-time thing. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out as we fumble our way through that.
Right. If you are listening to this on YouTube, please leave us a comment and let us know if you are enjoying this, if we can do things better, if there are...
Feedback.
Yeah, feedback is good. And if you're
We're
listening...
speaking to you, even the person that doesn't feel like they should say anything, you should.
Exactly. And if you're the person that's sitting next to the person who's listening to us, we're talking to you too.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Leave us some feedback. Also, please give us a rating on iTunes if you're listening to us on there. And feel free to follow us on various social medias. So, I've fine-tuned this. We are Marshmallow and Mimosa on Gmail and on Instagram. On Snapchat and on Twitter, we are Marshmallow Mosa. Done. You can also go to marshmallowandmimosa.com because we did that today.
We did.
Yes, that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, give us the feedback, follow us, tell your friends.
Yes.
And don't be afraid to try new things.
To all you marshmallows out there.
It's pretty good. Just let that roll around in your mouth a little bit and see how you like the taste.
Sweet.
All right. I guess that's it. Oh, and our intro and outro music is by Peter Carmen.
Yep.
Thank you, Peter. Bye.
Bye.